Hey guys, so I am so excited to share today's video with you for a number of reasons, and as you can tell by the title of this video, it is going to be about books. So you already know my channel is mostly beauty and lifestyle related, but obviously I've been focusing way more on beauty related videos, which I know a lot of you guys don't seem to mind. It's probably the main reason why you've subscribed to me. But I've kind of neglected the lifestyle part of my channel, so for the year of 2015 I kind of want to incorporate more of my interests into this channel. I mean, I'm obviously still going to focus a lot more on beauty videos. In fact, for 2015 I plan on getting way more experimental and just overall improving my craft, but I just want to focus on other things as well. You guys like when I talk about video games, you ask me a lot about anime, and it's just a lot of fun because I see a lot of you guys have very similar interests to me, and that's kind of why we get into some really cool and interesting conversations in the comments section. I just love to read. It's one of my all-time favorite things to do when I am not filming videos for you guys, besides playing Super Smash Bros. If you guys want to play, friend code is down there. Or playing Fire Emblem. Yeah, definitely Fire Emblem. Can't help myself. And yeah, a couple things prompted me to start this series sooner rather than later. I have a ton of books that I'd like to share with you guys, all from very different genres. And there is a huge contest going on right now for one of these books that I want to tell you guys about. I know time is extremely short. I think there's only like 2 days left for this contest. So that's why I made a post on my Instagram telling you guys about this contest, which is to win a trip to Japan. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you totally should, because sometimes I have very useful information like that to share with you guys, other than what I'm eating or that I went to Lush, you know? So yeah, I'm going to talk more about that contest a little bit later, probably more towards the end of the video, because I want to talk about the books first. Anyway, I have 3 books that I want to share with you guys today, of all very different genres to kind of, again, cater to more people out there, because everyone has different interests. The first book I want to share with you guys today is called The Inexperienced Mate by the author D.W. Jackson, and I don't have like a physical hard copy to share with you guys because I had to, sorry, because I couldn't find it in my local Barnes & Noble, so I downloaded it on Sean's iPad. It was only $3 for a digital copy, and I was able to read it instantly. So I'm just going to insert a photo of the cover so you kind of know what I'm talking about if you want to run out and grab it. Anyway, to kind of give you like a quick synopsis of the story without giving anything away, the story specifically takes place hundreds of years after what is called the Fae Wars. After the Fae Wars, mages have pretty much been eliminated and magic is now a thing of legend. So not only has mages, or even magic essentially, been eliminated after the Fae Wars, the kingdom has reverted into a queendom. Really interesting because the roles have essentially been reversed in this story, where men have essentially become like second class to women. They don't have the same rights, they can't own property like women can, and they can be sold into slavery. So it's really different to see a story where the roles have essentially been reversed. So that's basically the kind of world that this story takes place in, and you're following the main character named Mark, who later becomes Thaddeus. You'll find out why. He was basically sold away by his mother to the academy, and what the academy is basically train all these young men to become basically like really well-rounded individuals, to be honest. They become extremely proficient in fighting, and I would say they're extremely intelligent because they learn a lot in many different fields. So once you're through at the academy, you're then put into auction to be sold off to people who want to purchase you as a slave. Yeah, Mark was sent off to the academy by his mother, and he sold for a very high price to the queen. He escapes before the queen can take him away to the palace to permanently brand him on the forehead saying, "Hey, I'm a slave." And basically you're just following him throughout his journey to claim his freedom, to find a life for himself, and his journey in learning magic, which becomes a huge asset for him in a number of ways throughout the story. So I'm going to now go ahead and talk about some pros. The first being, obviously, there was a lot of fresh, new, different concepts in the story that I haven't seen in other similar stories before, such as I mentioned in the quick synopsis, that the roles of men and women have essentially reversed. You are ruled by a queen, your rights differ depending on whether you're a man or a woman, and it especially adds a little more to the story because the main character is a male. So you get to see more conflict and like extra trials that he has to go through simply because he is a man. And there's just a new idea, or I guess like concept, of magic in this story because I've never seen it used in a way like this before. The pacing was really quick, but the good thing about the pacing being relatively fast is that you were able to get through the story and be entertained without being bombarded by these little tiny minuscule details that don't necessarily need to be in the story that can kind of hinder your interest a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some cons because no book is perfect unless it's any book from the Harry Potter series, then of course it's perfect, but you know. No, seriously, there really is no like perfect book out there. So there were some cons that I kind of encountered while reading this story. The first being the most plain and obvious one in my eyes were the plot holes. Although it's really not that big of a deal because if you are reading this story and you're really caught up in the story, kind of skip over the plot holes without too much thought to it. And back to the pacing, yes, it was a little fast, so it kind of made things appear a little too easy. There was a lot of things that he kind of did that was just, it seemed too easy for him. Like for magic being legend and him being the only person basically self-teaching him how to do it, he sure seemed to learn a lot in a very short amount of time. That's basically all I have to say as far as pros and cons go. So overall, I would say this was a really nice, really quick, very easy read. I was able to actually finish this book in less than 3 hours. I'd say if you are into fantasy stories or fantasy novels, you love anything dealing with mages or magic, kingdom, queendom, whatever, this might be a story for you to check out. Is it the best fantasy novel that I've ever read? No. But for being his first self-published novel, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was his first self-published novel, I'd say it was a pretty good job. And the most important thing is creating your own original idea that other people will find entertaining, and I was entertained, so. So the next book I'm going to share with you is, I guess it would be in the business genre, but please don't be put off by it because it really is a good book and it's not exactly how it sounds. In fact, you've probably already heard about this book 100 times over, and the book I am talking to you about is Girl Boss. It's not a novel, it's just a book, and I guess to kind of explain the synopsis or whatever, it's written by Sophia Amoruso. She is the author, but she is also the CEO and founder of the company Nasty Gal. And I think what a lot of people think of when they see this book is they think it's a book on how to start a business, like a step-by-step guide, how to start a business, how to have a successful business, how to get rich. And it's just not really the case. It's not a get-rich-quick book. It's just everything from her perspective. She does offer tips and advice, but it's mostly just a story about her company, where she was before Nasty Gal, how she got into it, and how she got to where she is now. It really is packed with a lot of useful info despite that, and it's got a lot of really inspirational quotes, and a lot of people might find it really useful. It's just really easy to pick this book up at any minute of the day and just kind of read through, whether it be for 5 minutes or an hour or a couple hours, because it's nothing you really have to sit there and think too much about. It's just really straightforward and it's overall just really good. This story, or this book I should say, is extremely inspirational and it really motivates you to go out and do what you want to do with your life instead of sitting there wishing that things would happen or wondering why you can't get to where you want to go. It just makes you want to just go out and do those things. And I think that's just a really important thing for a lot of people to take away, because I do think a lot of people kind of just sit there and wonder, you know, how other people get so successful or how they got to a certain place in life when you're not. And it's just a matter of going out and trying to achieve what you want to achieve and working really, really, really hard. She seems to at times have like a lack of empathy for people who are less fortunate than her. And to me, that's not really a likable trait to have in a personality, I guess. Not all that relatable. But that might be due in part to that she is really straightforward. She doesn't beat around the bush. She doesn't sugarcoat anything for you. She literally throws it out on the table, take it or leave it. Alright guys, so you know what that means? We are down to our third book and final book of this video, and oh, I have to grab it. And this one is in the young adult genre, which I must say is kind of a guilty pleasure for me, but I'm at that age where I'm also kind of over them. I'm 23 years old now, so they don't really relate to me anymore. But anyway, I just wanted to share this one anyway, mostly because of support. This book is actually a story by one of our very own here on YouTube, Zoella or Zoe Sugg. You already know who that is. I don't need to explain. So you already know what the book I'm talking about is, potentially. It's called Girl Online. Basically, it's about a young girl named Penny. She lives in Brighton, England, and she runs an anonymous blog of growing popularity. However, during the story, her and her family go to New York, where she meets a boy and, of course, falls in love. What kind of young adult novel doesn't have that? But they both have secrets, and his secret could potentially affect, or I guess you could say ruin, her life as it is online. Can't tell you what those secrets are though, because you're gonna have to read the book. So let's talk about pros though, because there are actually quite a few pros to this story. And the first being, it was really, really cute. Although it was extremely predictable at times, it was a really cute story. If you are a fan of Zoella, you'll probably really like the main character because she is very, very similar, or I guess based off of Zoe herself. She has a lot of the same interests. It does touch on some really important topics that I think affect a lot of different people's lives, including things like anxiety and cyberbullying, friendship, love, death, homosexuality. It just touches on a lot of different subjects. So on to cons, and the first one is I was very disappointed to hear that this was a ghost-written story. So basically it's just Zoe's story, ideas, and characters, but it was kind of written by someone else. The story was still extremely predictable and very true to what a lot of young adult novels typically are. So if you're looking for something with a ton of twists and turns and surprises, you are not going to get it with this story. And even though the characters were pretty likable and cute, they are still kind of one-dimensional. They aren't really all that creative or different from a lot of other young adult fictions out there. I mean, overall, it was extremely cute. I think if you are a fan of Zoella, if you really love her and her channel and her personality, you can really see that show through this book, and you probably will enjoy it for that reason alone. So I guess it all just really depends on what you want out of a story. So if you're not bothered by predictability, you want something really cute and entertaining to a fault, this might be a book for you, especially if you do love Zoella and her personality. I think you will enjoy this to some extent. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't bad, just extremely predictable. But otherwise, let's get into the really exciting news, and that would be the giveaway. Now, I am not the host of this giveaway. This prize is not coming from me, it's coming from one of the authors, and the author is D.W. Jackson from the first book that I shared with you, The Inexperienced Maze. Oh my god. I'm just talking too fast that just words are just spilling out like word vomit. The Inexperienced Mage, and that is again a trip to Japan. Now, just so I make sure I give you all correct information, I'm pulling up his blog post on my phone right now, but I will leave this post linked in the description box. It will be the first thing that you see, so click on that if you're interested in entering, because you're going to want to read it. It has everything you need to know. I'm just giving you the finer points just to kind of give you an idea of what's going on if you're interested in joining this contest. So basically the prize, the winner will get 1 round-trip ticket to Japan for a week, paid hotel room, and $500 in spending money. It literally, like I said, took me less than 3 hours to read this book, you guys. There's still time. I literally read the book and now I'm filming this video. Like, I'm not even kidding you. But you could get super creative. Also, I think if you cannot take the trip, you can give it to someone else, or you can take the $1,500 on a prepaid Visa card. It's one of the coolest, most amazing things you can do in life is to go to another country and experience someone else's culture. I would literally cartwheel out of this house if one of my subscribers wanted. It would just be so awesome. So if you guys want in on this, it's really as simple as that. Again, the blog post will be linked the first thing in the description box, so please go check it out. So yeah, that is pretty much everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got maybe a new idea for a book you'd like to check out in the future. And in case I don't see you again before the end of this year, I hope you have an awesome New Year's Eve, an amazing New Year's Day, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much for making this year so amazing. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.